and a big welcome to the channel. I'm the Motorsport Madman, and this is the sprint ahead of the 2024 Miami Grand Prix. And we are 12 minutes away from lights out. I think it's a 19-lap race. I'm not 100% certain on that. That's what the website's saying anyway. But we'll find out once it gets underway. But yeah, 19-lap sprint it's looking like. With, of course, Mr. Inevitable on pole position, even though he made a mistake on his final qualifying lap. Even he was surprised he was on pole position. So I feel like, you know, Leclerc, Perez, I mean, where was Norris in the end? I feel like those guys that are usually second, third, fourth on the grid should have taken full advantage of Max Verstappen having a little moment on his flying lap, but they didn't. And Verstappen, even with a mistake, still on pole position. So what can we do? What can we do? I tell you what we can do. We can come back in March 2025 and have another look and see if anyone's caught up then. That's what we're doing. But yeah, it is Mr. Inevitable on pole position. Leclerc, Perez. But Daniel Ricciardo is a nice little highlight, because I have been worried about Daniel Ricciardo and worried about him being dropped mid-season, but he seems to have switched it on here in Miami, and hopefully he can convert that into a bag full of points in the sprint today. So I'm most excited about seeing how Daniel Ricciardo can do with 19 laps. Maybe he can hold on to like a top 6 if things go well for him. But yeah, welcome to the stream, Suede, for a second. My God. Isn't that what 12-year-olds do? Well, fair play, guys. Yes, Gav, welcome in, bro. Suede. And yes, Chrissy, Salty Dog, cheers. How are we doing? Cheers, Gav. You know, it's not that I don't want to do this anymore. It's just that the sport's just dead, innit? I mean, do you really want to see me is sit here and commentate on another 19 Verstappen wins? Careful what you wish for, Gav, because it's. I don't want to do a boring. I don't want to have a boring channel. I don't want to have a boring watch along, and it's getting that way. Do you know what I mean? It's getting where I'm thinking it's just going to be boring, man. It's going to be if I do every single race this season, it's going to be boring, bro. And that's the problem. I don't want it to be. So what can I do? I can either fake it and go, what an amazing battle for 16th, or I can say, let's come back next year. I don't know, man. It's tough, man. It's a tough gig. It's a tough gig. A tougher gig than Tom. A tough gig than I anticipated, you know. I was hoping that F1 would at least be half decent. You know, I said yesterday I wouldn't mind if Verstappen was winning half the races. I wouldn't mind that, you know. If he was winning half the races in a season and, you know, Lewis was getting a couple, you know, Lando was getting a couple, George was getting a couple, Charles was getting a couple, I'd be like, all right, you know, he's dominating the thing, but other people are having a look in. But when it's just, like, relentless like this, it's, you know, hard to make it an entertaining thing, isn't it? Hard for me to G it up, basically. Do you know what I mean? It's hard for me to big it up as like, I wonder who's going to win this week. I wonder. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a tricky one. It's a sticky one, man. It's a sticky one. But you do a live stream breaking news. Yeah. The thing is, though, let's say like the Adrian Newey news the other day. What's the benefit of me coming on, right? So Adrian Newey's leaving Red Bull. Well, I come on and go, dun 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 dun, dun. F1 breaking news. Adrian Newey's leaving Red Bull. See, guys. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know. How do I elaborate on that for half an hour? I don't know if I can make a live stream out of that, guys. I'm going to be real with you, SHT. I mean, the only other thing, if I had like guests on the channel, or if I had like a panel of people, then you can discuss things, and it's different gravy, innit? Like obviously there's these channels where it's like podcasts, where it's like 4 people. They can have an opinion of where Newey's going next, and you can have an opinion, and you get a bit of a conversation going. But when I'm on my Billy One Todd, mate, when I'm on my Johnny Rotten Todd, it's a bit of a sticky one, man. to sort of come on and talk about F1 news for a good chunk of time. But I want to keep the sim racing going though, because that's fun regardless of situation or scenario. I want to keep the channel going somehow. It's just plugging along with the watch alongs at the minute. It's a bit of like flogging a dead horse. Thought I was having a nightmare. With the GOAT, yeah, but the GOAT, if I was the GOAT, I'd be getting more than 50 subs a year though, Gav. But I appreciate you. You might think I'm the GOAT, but there's only a handful. Only a handful that watch. You know. It's a shame. It is what it is. It's various factors, but no, I was hoping to be further on than it is. Yeah, exactly. We want to watch you slowly descend into madness. I know. I said to her mum, I said, I'm not going to do it anymore. She went, oh, why don't you just take the piss out of it? I was like, well, she didn't swear. I'm swearing. She doesn't swear. But she basically said, well, why don't you just take the mick out of it? Just make it into a comedy. I thought, yeah, I could do. I mean, I already do that in a way, but it's just like, what am I going to do? Maybe I'll do the start of every race. What about that? And then after 10 laps, we have a look at the situation and then like, right. It's another one of them days. I'll see you next week. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's a maybe. I do enjoy the start of a race anyway, so maybe we do the start of a race and then have a look. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's a fucking tricky gig. She does have a good point. Like, why don't you just take the mick out of it? Because, you know, I could do. You know, we just have a laugh with it and just roll with the punches. But it's like some days I just wake up and I'm just like, what am I trying to do here? What am I trying to flog here? Because we all know. Everyone knows, like, it's the most predictable sport in the world recently. In the last, if you look at last season and this season, it's got to be the most predictable sport in the world. You know what I mean? I bet the bookies wouldn't even take your money if you just had Verstappen to win every week. You just wouldn't take your money after a few. It's just brutal. So I don't know. We're in a sticky spot, man. We're in a sticky spot. Anyway, what we're saying, you sure do. No, cheers. I want to seem to tend into madness. So they're now thinking of points at every car on the grid. I heard Crofty. Was it David Croft saying that? Has someone come up with that idea, didn't they? I think it's David Croft who likes that. And when I first heard that idea, I was like, no, you're on about every car gets points. But then, having thought about that idea, the more I think about that, the more I think that makes sense. Because then all of a sudden, the battle for P17, the battle for P14, which I couldn't really give a damn about, all of a sudden means something. Because the difference between P15 and P16 might be a point or two. And so it gives everybody a more motivation. Even if you're fighting for 17th, you're going to race even harder than you would because there's actually something at stake. So I actually don't mind that. But I don't think they'll do points down to 20th, down to last place. I think David Croft was saying how he would have it is if you don't finish the race, you don't get anything, obviously. But everyone that finishes the race gets some sort of points. Which, like I say, the more I think about it, the more I think that kind of makes sense. But I think what F1 won't do that. What they might do is go down to P12 instead of P10. So kind of a bit of a middle ground. So you'll get a 1 point for P12, P11. But then unlucky 13 then, innit? You know what I mean? Unlucky 13, you get nothing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad idea that, you know, giving points to everybody that finishes. And then at least then, you know, I can't really take the mick out of the battle for P16 because it actually means something. Because at the moment, you know, unless you're in that top 10, you could have the race of your life and finish 11th. You get diddly squat, you know. But yeah, the sprint's going to get underway in a minute, so we'll just try and catch up with the comments. Love the series of F1 headline of the day. Well, yeah, I could do F1 headline. Well, yeah, I could do it as a short. Yeah, I could do like breaking news as a short, but as a live stream, it'd be difficult to like make it, pad that content out. But yeah, as a short, yeah, F1 news, I suppose. We feel like that with Max. I finished second and Max is irrelevant. Some people have done that. Some people watch F1 and actually block out like the first, like no joke, like it's just all about who finishes second. Esteban Ocon has been given a 10-second time penalty, has he? What's your video, Rob? It's not your job. Exactly. If I worked for Sky Sports and I was on $500,000 a year, I wouldn't be complaining. I'd be like, all right, it's a bit shit, but I'm making dollar. Let's carry on. when you're in £0 and it's going to be £0 forever, it's like, oh, at least I want to have fun. At least that's the payoff. It's a good time, isn't it? But if it starts becoming so stale that it becomes like a chore, that's I feel like I'm approaching a crossroads of where is it fun or is it a chore? And a couple more boring races. Done. No, but I've said I enjoy it enough to watch it, but trying to make it entertaining is the thing. But yeah, we're about to get underway. We're almost on the formation lap. Flying circus. I like it. Where are we? The trend has returned. What trend? What if they make every car finishes on the lead lap gets points? Yeah, but then if you're about to get lapped, all of a sudden you're like blocking the leader and stuff. You ain't lapping me. I don't care about blue flags. Everyone on the lead lap. That could be a bit savage though, because if you get like someone that's like really dominant, let's say Max. Max has had races where he's like lapped everybody apart from like the top 5 or something. You know what I mean? You end up 6th, but you're lapped by Verstappen, you don't get anything. Would be savage. But yeah, what we're saying. You doing the watch along, bro? Trust me, football channel sit there not taking 80%. Yeah, I know. I could. I know, but do I want to do a watch along where I'm sat here for the second half of the race, just like battle for 17th is hot enough. I don't know. I want to have fun with it. Anyway, I don't know. On the other side of the coin, I don't know. There's pros and cons, isn't there? On the other side of the coin, if I stop and then there'll be a few good races and then I'll be like, oh, I should have just carried on. I don't know. Anyway, point is, let's have a look, see if this afternoon's any good. Let's see if this is any good. You know what I mean? Let's have a look. Let's have a look here now. Let's have a look. We see if we get a good 19 lap race here. Or at least I think it's 19 laps. That's the that's what it's saying on that website. Anyway, yeah, so you get 8 points for winning the sprint, 7 points for second, 6 points for third. But I think the most exciting thing about this little 19 lap race here is Danny Rick in a special edition livery. What are we thinking about this Ferrari livery? I think it's awful. I think it's this Ferrari with the little bit of blue on it is just horrendous. Who approved that? How did that get through the board meetings? This is the proposed livery. Who gave that the thumbs up in the board members meeting? They should have just gone for it and gone, if we're going for a blue Ferrari for a race, let's just have a full, a lovely like baby blue Ferrari for a race. But not like 90% red and then with little blue stripes on it and a bit of a blue front wing. It's like grim. Anyway, that's by the by. It doesn't really matter, does it? That is just purely aesthetics. It's a pitiful amount of blue in it. That's what I'm trying to say. Go all out. I do, on the opposite side of the coin, I do love the RB special livery. The RB special livery this weekend. Oh, I'd give that a solid like 9 out of 10 livery. That is a solid 9 out of 10 livery, that is. Right, so Albon's in the pit lane, but here we go then. It's 3, 2, 1. The sprint in Miami is underway. It's Verstappen on the outside, Leclerc on the inside. Oh, but Leclerc's got a good run, and Verstappen has to defend it. Perez is trying round the outside of Leclerc as the exit out of turn 1. And we've got the McLaren's been hit. There's a McLaren that's been hit. Lando Norris has been punted off into turn 1. Yellow flags are out. We're into sector 1. And it is Verstappen that leads from Leclerc. Ricciardo's up to 3rd. Ricciardo's past Perez. Woo! Right, so Lando Norris is still stuck at turn 1. Is he on the outside? So I think they're going to be bringing out safety cars. Yeah, Lando Norris saying he got hit. I don't know who by, but look at Leclerc in the slipstream of Verstappen. Has a look at him. But Verstappen still holds the lead into turn 11. And now round into the Mickey Mouse sector in Miami. Very difficult sector this. You've got to be all over the curbs. Again, brushing the wall. Bouncing over the curbs. Very technical, tight. Few corners. And then boom. There we go. Down the back straight. Then out of turn 16. It is a full safety car deployed in Miami. With Norris stranded at turn 1. I don't know who punted him off. But we're about to see the replays. I know, Swade. Yeah, so Norris is out. Doesn't affect him for the Grand Prix, though. It's not like it was last year. It doesn't affect him for the Grand Prix, this, because we've got qualifying tonight. I think either 8 or 9 p.m. tonight, qualifying for the Grand Prix. And then the Miami Grand Prix will be 9 p.m. UK time tomorrow evening. Let's have a look at the replay of the start then. So Perez round the outside. Oh, but Perez goes wide then. Oh, it's the 2 Aston Martins. Oh, wow, there was a Mercedes in there. Yeah, so Hamilton was involved in that. Both Aston Martins. And there's just like a concertina effect. Right, so we've got Alonso down the inside of Lance Stroll. Oh, Alonso hits Stroll. Hamilton joins the battle. And they're 4 wide on the apex of turn 1. Norris is on the outside. Hamilton arrived like a bull. Wow. Let's have a look at this then. So, oh yeah, Hamilton's gone for an absolute dive bomb. And yeah... Oh, I don't really know who to put the blame on there. I think Lewis is well... this is the angle we want. On board, Lewis Hamilton, right? Is he outbreak? Yeah, look at this. He's absolutely... No. It's Lewis's... Yeah, Lewis has created a concertina effect that's ended up with Norris being punted off. It's Hamilton into Alonso, Alonso into Stroll, Stroll into Norris. It's about as complicated as it gets. But yeah, it's Hamilton who's over ambitious on the brakes down the inside. Easy, Alonso. Alonso's then at his teammate Stroll, and Stroll has hit Norris, and Stroll's out as well. How's Alonso doing? Alonso's at the back as well. Oh, both Aston Martins out here. But Norris is definitely out. Stroll's definitely out. I don't know about Alonso. A dramatic start to the sprint. What in the world is Lance D? Yeah, I think I don't know about Lance. I don't know really if it's Lance's. I wouldn't really put the blame on Lance there. Because he's got Alonso on the inside. Norris on the outside. There's not really anywhere for him to go. I've got to put the blame on Lewis on an over-ambitious turn one dive bomb and creating this whole situation that's ended up with Norris being punted out and is out of the race. They're having trouble with their audio on Sky Sports, I think. Yeah, they're having trouble with the audio, I think. But Alonso's still going. How much damage he's got, I don't know. He is last at the moment. Here we go, team radio. Alonso. Right, the stewards are taking no further action. Okay. So we're going to drive through the pit lane. So the order then, after that turn one incident that's seen the end of Lance Stroll and Lando Norris, the running order then, when the safety car comes in another couple of laps, will be Verstappen, Leclerc, Ricciardo up to third, Perez, Sainz, Piastri, then both Haas drivers, Hulkenberg and Magnussen 7th and 8th. I suppose that's what's important in the sprint. You've got to be in the top 8. There's no point in me reading out all 20. But yeah, so we shall see safety car ending then. We get this back underway. Just been made aware of the ting. Nas, man. Just do the odd ting, yeah. Oh, what? That I'm sacking off the watch-alongs? Yeah, man. It's like you only doing Man City watch-alongs and hoping that they lose every week. But they win 4 or 5-0 every week, and then doing that for 3 years. I'm running out of enthusiasm, me old fruit. But I'm not stopping the channel. I'm just saying I'm putting myself on pause for a bit. I'm not. It's not goodbye forever. It's a goodbye until this sport picks itself up off its knees again and fucking does something. But I'll keep it going in other ways. I still want to do. I've got a couple of ideas, but yeah, sport's dead at the minute. 1-0 lead. How are you? How are you 1-0 in the lead on Twitch? How are you 1-0 up on Twitch? Who are you playing against? What are you playing? Lewis is having definitely the worst season. Yeah, his worst season so far, definitely. Fernando having no luck, yeah. Right, here we go. Anyway, we're going to get back underway at the end of lap 3. Into lap 4 we go then. It's Verstappen, Leclerc, Ricciardo, top 3. I did not expect to be saying that this weekend, but go on, Danny Rick. I'm telling you now, I'm worried about Danny Rick losing his seat, but this is the best performance we've seen from Danny Rick in probably about 4 years at the moment. It's still early days, but it is good to see Ricciardo back at the sharp end of Formula 1, even if it is just a sprint race that will inevitably be won by. They go 1-0. It's on Twitch, you think. What? What goes 1-0? Yes, Ernesto! That's what happens when you listen to hippies about emissions and get stuck with E2. I don't think it's a problem with the engines. And, you know, it's nobody's fault. I said that before. It's nobody's fault that Verstappen's absolutely walking away with every single race in the last 2.5 years. It's nobody's fault. It's not the engine's rules or aerodynamic rules. It's just that Red Bull have aced it. They put the best driver in the world in. And GG's, everybody. Come back in a couple of years. But it's a shame. Bring back Vita? Well, yeah, obviously. You know. But it's not really viable, that, is it? You got to think about car manufacturers and what they want to do. because at the end of the day, it's got to be relevant to the car market, to the commercial car market, hasn't it? See, this is why. Yeah, the Schumacher and Ferrari days were bad, but not this bad. Oh, look at that. Perez has got the position back off Daniel Ricciardo then. So Perez back up to third. Daniel Ricciardo back down to fourth. And I think it's going to be Carlos Sainz putting big pressure on Daniel Ricciardo next. I hope Daniel Ricciardo can get a couple of points out of this. You know, I can see him being beaten by Sainz and Piastri, but hopefully he stays ahead of both of the Haas guys and gets a couple of points out of this sprint. It'd be nice to see. Because he's still not got a point yet, Danny Rick. Oh, look at this. And Sainz is having a look at Carlos Sainz into the hairpin. Look at this. This could be it. Done into turn one. Ricciardo is having to try and defend it into turn one. Sainz around the outside, but is he going to get the switch back? It's not really an overtaking opportunity in the first sector now through these fast sweeping bends, so he might have to wait till turn 11 now, Carlos Sainz, to get the job done. They're definitely having a trouble with the audio on Sky Sports. The commentators are coming in and out of... they've gone fully silent, so they're leaving it up to me. You're leaving it up to me? Right, I'll take over. So it is on lap 6, Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Ricciardo, and under big pressure from Carlos Sainz. We have got then Oscar Piastri, who's staying on the back of this train. We've got then a bit of a gap to Nico Hulkenberg and Kevin Magnussen. Hamilton's just outside the points at the moment in P9. It's then Yuki Tsunoda, 10th place on the soft tyres. It's then Pierre Gasly down in P11 at the moment. Not going to get any points there, me old fruit. And yeah, here we go for a replay then, with no commentary on Sky Sports at a minute. But here we go for the replay then of Perez retaking that third place off Daniel Ricciardo down at turn 11 on lap 6. And it is Verstappen, who is not disappeared into the sunset just yet. Leclerc's keeping him honest. The gap at the front is 1.4 seconds. It's then 2.8 to Perez, who is being held to some account by Daniel Ricciardo. Within a second is Ricciardo and does have the DRS to defend against Carlos Sainz. But is Sainz going to try it down into turn 1? No. Ricciardo manages to defend it well. Yes, always. How we doing, bro? Yes, Kim. Why do you think this is worse than the Schumacher-Ferrari era? Schumacher was never this dominant. Schumacher was never as dominant as Verstappen is now. It was dominant, but it wasn't as bad as it is now. I think 2002 was particularly bad. I think 2002 was as bad as it got in the Schumacher era. Well, bad is it depends on what your opinion is. You know what I mean? If you're a Schumacher fan, it wasn't bad, was it? The 2002 was as good as it got. You know? But I see it from purely an entertainment, like from a neutral point of view. Domination's bad, bro. You know, domination is inherently bad in Formula One. To me, to anyone that wants a good race. Yeah, they're definitely having commentary issues on Sky Sports, or it's my headphones. I don't know. If anyone else watching this, are we on silent? I mean, you know, I'll do the job. But yeah, we've got no David Croft or Martin Brundle anyway. They're just leaving me to it. Hamilton team radio, can we hear that? Hamilton said he's slow on the straights. Well, I would have thought he's going to be quick enough to pass a couple of Hasses. You know, Hamilton outside the points. He might have a bit of damaged front wing, you know, from the contact with Alonso into turn 1. I am putting the blame on Hamilton for that little bit of contact that saw Norris and Stroll retire from the race on lap 1. We are on lap 8 out of 19. Hamilton is putting pressure on Kevin Magnussen, and you better be careful racing wheel to wheel with Kevin Magnussen, because you know he's going to defend for all he's worth. And they go side by side into turn 11 now. Hamilton on the outside, Kevin Magnussen on the inside, and Magnussen defends it well. And now there's not really going to be another overtaking opportunity. You're not going to get round him in this Mickey Mouse sector around 12, 13, 14, and 15. You're going to be down round turn 16 and down the back straight. Then you've got a hairpin turn 17 is probably your next opportunity, Lewis, but he doesn't look close enough to get Kevin down this back straight here. And it is still both Hasses in the points in this sprint race. Behind Hamilton is Yuki Tsunoda on the soft tyre, who, if he hasn't made it work by now, he probably isn't going to make it work. The mediums are going to be better from probably this point to the end of the race, so Yuki Tsunoda will probably be falling back from there if he's not made it work in the first half dozen laps. Then outside the points, we have got Gasly, Sargent, Zhou, Russell down in P14. Not having a good day, George Russell. It's then Bottas, Albon, Ocon and Alonso at the back after sustaining some damage with a turn 1 incident. Hamilton not putting major pressure on Magnussen for that P8 at the moment. Lap 9, Verstappen leads Leclerc by 1.7. So, you know, he's not absolutely walked away at the front. Leclerc's still within a couple of seconds, but crucially not within DRS range of the Red Bull. But fair play. He's not 10 seconds up the road in 10 laps, as we've seen in multiple occasions over the last couple of years. Sounds fine on yours. Sounds fine. What, the commentary? Is it? It might be my headphones then. Oh, it is my headphones. Oh no, fair play, man. It is my headphones. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was my headphones. It's got like a loose. I've noticed it before actually when I've been on the sim that I couldn't hear my car, and I was like, what's going on here? And then I messed with it. Yeah, I've got a loose connection. Oh, fair enough. There's always a team that dominates. It's the scale of the domination, Gav. It's the scale of it. There's domination, and then there's this Verstappen era. It's the scale of it. I know that. You know, I've been watching long enough to know that there's dominant periods through history. You know, Mercedes had a good few years. But it was never, it was nowhere near this bad, though. It was nowhere near this bad. You know, in Hamilton's most dominant seasons, he was winning about half the races. So he was winning 10, 11 races out of 21. He wasn't winning 21 out of 23. You know, I mean, you can go back to like 1988. Yeah, that McLaren was. I bet 1988 was a bit of a dead season. You know, that's 4 years before I was born, but they won 15 out of 16 races. I bet it was crap, really. Yeah. I bet 2002, you know, I can't claim to watch the 2002 season. I was 10 years old. But I bet it was rubbish. I bet it was awful. It's just that we're getting, like... My issue is, 2023, it wasn't a one-off. We're getting the same again now. If it was one season of utter domination, and Verstappen breaks all the records, wins every single race, all right. You know, we get through it and think, well, that was a crap season. Anyway, on to the next one. But having that enthusiasm of like, all right, it was rubbish, let's have a look next year, and then being hit with the same scenario again while I'm trying to grow a channel and trying to be enthusiastic and trying to make a show out of it is absolutely nothing short of devastating, Gav. Absolutely devastating. Oh my God, look at this battle between Hamilton and Magnussen. Are they side by side in 12? Of course they are. Kevin Magnussen with the elbow. Of course it is. You are putting yourself in a very dangerous spot going wheel to wheel with Kevin Magnussen. You've got to love Kevin Magnussen for the midfield battles. You've got to love it, man. He doesn't give a damn. I would hate racing Kevin Magnussen wheel to wheel. I'd be dreading it. You'd be coming up to the back of Kevin Magnussen, wouldn't you? If you were in a quicker car and you'd be going, oh, not Kevin. That's why you'd want Kevin in your team, though. Oh, look at this then. Sainz versus Ricciardo. Again, Ricciardo still holds on to P4. Piastri's having a look as well. Ricciardo, Sainz, Piastri, 4th, 5th and 6th. Absolutely nose to tail. Verstappen leads them all by 2.1. Then it's Perez. Then it's this battle here. Ricciardo, Sainz, Piastri. Then 2.5 seconds to the both Hasses who are holding off Lewis Hamilton. Let's have a look at this replay between Hamilton and Magnussen. Then down to turn 11. Hamilton tries to switch back. You just drove into it, yeah. Let's have a look at this. Go on, Kevin, lad. Oh, he doesn't give a damn. Wheel to... Nah, listen, sidewall, mate. It's just a shoulder barge. It's the F1 equivalent of a shoulder barge. And do you know what I mean? Do you know what? I don't mind it. Elbows out from Kevin Magnussen should not be a surprise to anybody. And that's why I love him. I've always liked Kevin Magnussen. I'll tell you that now. He's always been a midfield king, hasn't he, Kevin Magnussen? He doesn't give a damn, bro. He's got a 10-second penalty for it. No way. He's got a 10-second penalty for it. I must have missed that. No, I'm sounding like Chris Kamara. A red card? I must have missed that. No, I saw him go off, Jeff, but I thought they were bringing a sub on. Oh my God. He's still holding Hamilton up here. Mate, you never realised that Lewis Hamilton's biggest nemesis was Kevin Magnussen, did you? He's won 7 titles, but he can't pass Kevin Magnussen in the ass. You gotta love it, man. Look at the state of it in turn 10 there. Wow, here we go. Well, that's turn 8. I suppose they count the kinks in the straight as a corner, which is absolute BS. Yeah, I don't think... Oh, is Lewis going to dive bomb him here? Is Lewis going to dive? Oh, Lewis is going to go for it here. Oh, but he can't. Kevin holds on. Good, Kevin. This is for the final point as well, this actually means something. They're not just scrapping over 18th. They're scrapping over the final point. Obviously, points go down to P8 in the sprint. And, yeah, Magnussen is putting up one hell of a fight. And like they're just picking up on Sky, this is helping out Hulkenberg a treat. Hulkenberg's been able to get a bit of a gap. And look at the queue. Leclerc's had decent pace here. I must admit, you know, I could sit here and moan about Verstappen winning every single race, but you know what? Leclerc has kept him honest today. It's not one of those walk in the park days for Verstappen. The gap's still under 2 seconds. I could live with a season of that if it was competitive. I could live with. It's not even about Max winning. It's about the margin of victory. I could deal with this margin of victory week in, week out. If he was pushed all the way, he was still beating them all, but they were all pushing him tooth and nail every single week. I'd go, all right. But it's the races where he's winning by 20, 30, 40 seconds week after week after week. That's what kills me. Oh, look at this. And now Lewis is surely going to do it this time. Round the outside. Oh, my God. But Kevin, they both gone off the track. I must admit, it's a hell of a fight between Magnussen and Hamilton this. They've both gone off the circuit. Hamilton will be fuming. Yuki Tsunoda has passed Hamilton for 9th. Hamilton will be gutted. Hamilton will be fuming about this. Oh, I tell you now, yeah, you've got to love Kevin Magnussen, man. He's always been like this, Kevin. This is a prime example. If there was a textbook on Kevin Magnussen, this would be page 1, this battle, Miami Sprint 2024. The Kevin Magnussen defense class. Let's have a look. Page 1, paragraph 1, Miami 2024 Sprint. Elbows out, last of the late breakers, a little bit over the line, a little bit over the limit, a little bit illegal, a little bit... But fantastic. Yeah, I don't care if it's a little bit over the limit and a little bit ooh and a little bit ooh and a little bit. It's good racing, that. It's good racing, that, to me. It's hard racing, bro. That's what we want to see. I want to see what Kevin Magnussen... Put Kevin Magnussen in a Red Bull. Then we got a championship. I want to see that kind of racing for the win. You know, I want to see Kevin Magnussen racing for a win. Imagine that scenario. It would be savage. Instead of him battling for 12th, doing what he does in a race-winning car would be pure entertainment gold. He'd probably DNF about 10 times, but... Anyway, you still here, Chrissy? Don't know. Yuki's through. Yeah, Hamilton through. Yeah, they've got past him now. Oh, no, they haven't. Oh, yes, they have. Oh, no, they haven't. It's like pantomime out here. I'm getting Hulkenberg and Magnussen mixed up. Yeah, so the Snowden and Hamilton have overtaken him now. Look at this, George Russell battling with a Williams at the back. Tsunoda will get some points out of this then. Tsunoda's on for a point at the minute. Well, he might not. With 3 laps to go, I tell you what. Second half of the... This is... The thing is... This is the thing. The racing is great in the second half of the pack. It's fantastic. But it means nothing. Well, the Hamilton Magnussen one, at least there was a point at stake, but Mercedes are in the same boat they were, like, competitive-wise. They're in the same boat they were at the start of 2022, when it was this huge disaster. It's still a huge disaster. They've gone nowhere in 3 years. 2.5 years have gone nowhere. He's not got another 10 second. Well, at least he's got the memories. He'll finish stone dead last, Kevin Magnussen, with these time penalties, but he knows he's given him a good hard race. That's how it should be, in my opinion. You know, I'd like to think if I was talented enough to be in this, I'd like to think that I would race like Kevin Magnussen. Honestly, I would rather race like Kevin Magnussen than any of the other ones. I would. I would be Kevin Magnussen. It's a little bit over the line. It's a little bit get your elbows out. You're going to have a few knocks and bangs with everyone, but do you know what? Are you going to pussy out of it, or are you going to race me? You know what I mean? That's the question that Kevin Magnussen asks him. Are you pussying out, or are we having a race? And I like that. He's got a pair of bollocks on him, hasn't he, Kevin Magnussen? You better being Magnussen than you are being anonymous. You know, like let's say like Logan Sargent or like Zhou Guanyu. Even Bottas. Anonymous. I'd much rather be a Kevin Magnussen and finish last than be a completely anonymous Logan Sargent and go wheel to wheel? Never. %100%. I rather sign me up. I'll be a Pastor Maldonado any day, crashing out, spinning out. But I tell you what, he won the Spanish Grand Prix, didn't he, Maldonado? Rather be a Maldonado and make a name for yourself, even if you're a meme, than be an Adrian Sutil who just ran an anonymous career for a few years. Human Factor Blade Runner soundtrack. Yo! Mafia Magnussen. I've always liked the way he races, man. Halfway to Cayman. In fact, Kevin Magnussen is we're the same. Is that the same age? I think. Albon not having a good season so far. Yeah, hard to say, but there's not been many wow moments, has there? From Albon this season. I don't think he's got any points yet. Difficult one. So the final lap is going to be about Ricciardo versus Sainz. Yeah. Waiting for warm weather to come back. F1's like Groundhog Day every day, Chrissy. This what I'm watching right now is Groundhog Day since the middle of 2022. To be fair, I mean, Leclerc has had good pace this afternoon, and the victory is only 2.8 seconds, which it was 2.8 seconds every week. Look at this, and Ricciardo's going to get this P4 here. He's only got to defend it down into turn 17, and P4 is his. It's going to be close, this. Pierre Gasly. Oh, well, I wish I could say that with some enthusiasm, but he's down in 11th. You're not going to get any points from there. Oh, here we go. Oh, we need cameras on Ricciardo versus Sainz. Yeah, Mr. Inevitable wins again. We all know that. We all knew that. We all live and breathe that every single week. But what's happened with Ricciardo and Sainz? Ricciardo's had to defend it down into the hairpin. Fair play, man. Daniel Ricciardo's held on to P4 there in the 19-lap sprint. It's better than I would have thought. Nah, he's done well there. Yeah, nah. Fair play, Daniel Ricciardo there. He's got a bag full of points. Hamilton's going to get the final point in the sprint. So, yeah, final finishing order then. It is Inevitable at the front. And then it's Leclerc, Perez, Ricciardo, Sainz, Piastri, Hülkenberg and Hamilton who finish in the top 8 in the sprint and get points. It was then Tsunoda, Gasly, Sargent, Zhou, Russell, Albon, Bottas, Ocon, Magnussen with all the penalties. And Fernando Alonso. Stroll and Norris retired after a lap 1 collision. And that was the sprint in Miami. Now, qualifying. Let me have a look what time that's meant to be. Let me have a look what time qualifying is meant to be. 9 p.m. Join me at 9 p.m. For qualifying for the Grand Prix tomorrow, which will be at 9 p.m. I'll be live at 8:30 for the Miami Grand Prix. And then the next stream after that, Viewers Championship. Yeah, we'll still keep the Viewers Championship going, but yeah. Mr. Inevitable, of course, wins the Miami Sprint. Verstappen is just in a different league, but fair play. Ferrari had some good pace today and kept the margin of victory was like, 3-4 seconds, so not too bad. But yeah, that is about all from me for now. I'll be back at 9 p.m. or 10 to, something like that, for the qualifying. So it's a weird one this weekend. We've got qualifying and a race, and then qualifying and a race. So it's kind of a damp squib though, having a qualifying session after you've had a race. We're really in a Grand Prix weekend. You want to ramp up the excitement. Practice first. Oh, we're ramping up the excitement. Then a qualifying. Oh, now we're really right. And then the race. Ta-da! But this is kind of going backwards. We've got the excitement of the race, and then back to a qualifying session. It's a bit of a weird vibe. It's the way they're doing it this year. You know, I'm not really a fan of sprint race weekends in general. But there you go. That was a sprint. It was okay. It was a 3 out of 10. In fact, I'll give it a 5 for the battle between Hamilton and Magnussen. That was definitely the highlight. But yeah. Yeah, see, well, I'll be on tonight, Kim. But if you're not about tonight, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. But I'll be back on at 9 p.m. tonight for another session. But yeah, cheers anyway. Thank you all for joining the stream, and see you for qualifying. And then if you're not in tonight, the Miami Grand Prix from 8:30 p.m. tomorrow night. Thanks everybody, and thank you for the support on what could be the last race weekend on the channel, because look at the name on the top left of the screen, and that's why. See you later, guys.